examination that on a lot of those videos, Nicholas would send her a script and instruct her on what do in the videos. 842 to 843. Gypsy claimed to do things in the videos that she didn't always want to do, but did them because Nicholas told her to do them. TR. 843. She further admitted to engaging in rape fantasies with Nicholas, but claimed to not be crazy about the idea, and that she was simply indulging him. TR. 843. Though counsel had available videos which suggested otherwise, counsel failed to establish that this testimony was false. Only a very small portion of the videos appear to be scripted by Nicholas. The grand majority are of Gypsy's own creation. Some of the sexually explicit videos are formatted to look like a real movie, with credits at the end. There are many in which she has sex with herself using her fingers or objects, including a toothbrush, where she appears to very much be enjoying herself and not engaging in activity simply to indulge Nicholas. There are also videos in which she is a dominant character who talks about ways she will rape Nicholas. On a 1352-minute video dated September 27, 2013, Gypsy is role-playing in her Demona persona. She explains that she is a slut with an evil streak. She can torture, she can do anything, except a few things. She can't physically harm Gypsy's mother or Nick because those two people are off limits. Besides the two things she can't do, she describes what she can do. She can steal, she can torture, she can kill, she likes to drink and be sexually naughty. She talks at great length about how skilled she is at stealing from stores. She goes on to say she overwhelms Nick sometimes and can rape him by force. She talks in detail about the ways she can to that by tying him to a chair or a bed. 62. Electronically filed green April 28, 2021 to and agreeing to have sex with a man for money. She explains that she will be able to get money in the future by going to a bar and agreeing to have sex with a man for money, but instead she would drug him or hit him over the head with a bottle and steal his wallet. She advised Nicholas that they have to play it smart and be very careful what they do as a team because it takes skill to not get caught. She closes by saying that they will be very, very good at being bad together. Another 10-minute video dated May 26, 2014, contains two videos. In the second video, she appears as Demona wearing a long red wig and lingerie. She tells Nicholas that things have changed. She is his dominant, and he is her slave. She says she doesn't enjoy punishing him, but it has to be done. She describes how she will reward him with sex, but if he displeases her, she has ways of punishing men. If he fails to do as she asks, she, Demona, will take away Nicholas's time with Gypsy. She threatens to punish Nicholas by refusing to allow Gypsy to talk to him for a week. She will command him to perform sexual acts on her, and he'll have to do it, or she will be displeased. She praises him for being a good slave so far and continues to encourage him to do a good job. In yet another video dated May 27, 2013, there is no indication of any script. Gypsy is wearing a long blonde wig and uses an object and her fingers to have sex with herself for almost 12 minutes. She is very animated and screams loudly, "Fuck my pussy, fuck it, fuck me, master, harder." There are many other examples of non-scripted videos in which Gypsy displays this behavior. In another video compilation that runs just over 19 minutes and is dated January 24, 2014, she tells Nicholas that she dreams about him, and though other men hit on her, she only wants him. She explains that he is perfect to her, and when Nicholas looks at her, it is like he sees every thought in her head and sees her emotions. They are soulmates and perfect for each other. She has sex with herself in both videos, using a toothbrush in one. In an 8-minute video dated August 11, 2014, Demona addressed Nicholas as her slave and informs him there are new rules and that her punishment of him will be extreme. She will cause him pain by making him strip and raping him with a strap-on so hard that he will scream to stop. She will be meaner and meaner until he submits to her. She says she is a bitch and he should not dare to cross her. At the end, she touches herself, and tells Nicholas that is all he will get for now. Because trial counsel failed to investigate and present this evidence, the jury never heard or saw this information, which would have countered the state's theory. Trial counsel also had available through discovery Facebook messages between Gypsy and Nicholas from Gypsy's Demona Love Slave account. In these messages, on October 26, 2014, Gypsy role plays as Demona and orders Nicholas's character, Victor, to get rid of this Facebook account for her right now. She tells him that someone messaged Gypsy's mom about this FB account and that the walls are closing in. On direct examination, counsel asked Gypsy how many boyfriends she had prior to Nicholas, and Gypsy replied, none. TR 830. Had counsel investigated information readily available to them, counsel would have known that was not true. In addition to evidence to the contrary available through witness Dan Glidewell below, Gypsy wrote on August 10, 2014, through her Demona Love Slave account as follows. Gypsy, when I started playing games with guys. Yes, my master. It was 2010 and 2011. I had just surfaced inside Gypsy when I started playing games with guys. I used Gypsy's fingers to make the texts and take the pics. The men asked me to send them news, so I took my top off, took the pic, and sent it. I had fun teasing them, saying I'd have sex with them, but I never went through with my words, only the texts and pics I sent them to 4 guys. But Gypsy's mom found out and threatened the men that if they ever came close to me again, she'd put them in jail because Gypsy was underage, and they were like 35 to 50. I was stupid, master. I was testing my limits of my sexually, and I was getting male attention like I wanted. I told you I was untamed before I met you, then you tamed me, and I've been loyal to you ever since less than 3. In addition, the state adduced evidence that Nicholas threatened to kill himself on June 2, 2015, close in time to the date of offense. TR 750. Trial counsel failed to present evidence that Gypsy made threats to kill herself multiple times, as early as May 2013. This would have suggested to the jury that Nicholas was not the manipulator as the state argued he was, but the manipulated who mimicked what he learned from Gypsy online. Instead, the jury never heard or saw this information. In her testimony, Gypsy claimed that it wasn't until she was 19 years old that she started to piece together that she was not actually sick. TR 813. She further testified that she did not understand the extent of how healthy she was until after her arrest. TR 813. Counsel failed to elicit evidence readily available that was contrary to this assertion, and that would further defense counsel's theory of the case that Nicholas was particularly vulnerable to her manipulation because of his ASD. Specifically, evidence was available to counsel that when Gypsy left Missouri for Wisconsin, she took only pain medication with her and no other prescription medications. Further, in a video dated May 26, 2014, Gypsy shows Nicholas how she can stand and walk. She explains that when she was 65 years old, she went into the hospital, and that during surgery, the doctors said she had a seizure and was paralyzed. They didn't know if it was only temporary. She started getting feeling and tingling in her legs. She was young and kept it to herself. She kept it from her mom because she was afraid that her mom would stop loving her. So she kept it to herself until 2011 when she rebelled and ran away from home. She said explaining to their friends that she could walk would be too hard. She says she would like for people to know the truth, but she would lose a lot of friends. Further, counsel failed to establish that Gypsy suggested Nicholas did not need to wear gloves at the time of the murder. Arguably, this suggests that she wanted him to leave prints on the knife. When first confronted by law enforcement that her mother was dead, Gypsy feigned a complete lack of knowledge about her death and stated she would slap her boyfriend if he did something stupid. She tells the officer her birthday is 1995 to make herself younger, when it is in fact 1991. She suggests she could call her mother for a list of her medications, and tells the detective that her mother told her there was something dangerous about Nicholas and compared him to Jeffrey Dahmer. All suggestive of the fact that Gypsy planned to try and frame and implicate Nicholas and exonerate herself. Trial counsel was ineffective for unreasonably and prejudicially failing to investigate and present this evidence through Gypsy to support their theory and to contradict the state's theory of their case. Daniel Glidewell. Counsel was ineffective for failing to investigate and called Daniel Glidewell. At trial, Gypsy referenced a friend that she attempted to run off with in 2011, TR 814. Had Mr. Glidewell been called, he would testify that he met Gypsy Blanchard at VisionCon in Springfield, Missouri in early 2011. He would testify that they communicated by Facebook or cell phone. Gypsy switched her Facebook accounts and usernames often. During this time period, they engaged in sexting and sent sexually explicit content to one another. Gypsy knew what she was doing sexually. In contemplating having sexual intercourse together, Gypsy told him that she did not need her wheelchair and could move around like any normal girl. Gypsy sent him naked images of herself, including images of her masturbating with a toothbrush. He would testify that Dee called him and told him to stay away from Gypsy, claiming she was underage, but Gypsy claimed she was 18 and had identification to prove her age. At one point, he stopped communicating with her because of the age question. Gypsy continued to contact him, pleaded with him to stay in contact with her, and continued to insist she was of age. Mr. Glidewell would testify that he sought treatment from Mercy Hospital in Springfield after he was injured in a fall from a balcony. He would testify that he invited Gypsy to come meet him because he was in pain and wanted to be comforted. Gypsy arrived without her wheelchair and with a very large suitcase. She also had with her a 3-ring binder of multiple forms of identification to prove she was over 18 years old. Mr. Glidewell would testify that his cousin Stephen Fawcett drove them all back to Mr. Fawcett's residence where Gypsy spent the night. Mr. Fawcett, Gina, and another male were all present. Dan and Gypsy made plans for their future together. He would testify that the next morning they woke to find Gypsy's mother, Dee Blanchard, in the house. Dee claimed the identifications were wrong, Gypsy was underage, and told Dan to stay away. He would testify that they stayed in contact online until 2014 when he had a serious girlfriend. Even after telling her he was no longer interested, Gypsy continued for a long time to send highly provocative messages and images to try and get him to respond. Gypsy learned that he and his girlfriend broke up and mentioned that she had a boyfriend, Nicholas Godejohn. Dan felt that she would try to manipulate him to come to her rescue by using Nicholas to make him jealous. Mr. Glidewell would testify that Gypsy messaged him in June of 2015, close in time to the murder, asking to meet for coffee and to say goodbye. He did not know if she wanted to have sex or to just say goodbye, but he thought better of it and did not go. He will testify that he learned after the fact that Gypsy's mother was dead when she asked to meet with him. Counsel's failure to investigate and call Dan Glidewell as a witness at trial resulted in prejudice to Mr. Godejohn. Ali Noble.